I started from nothing, never knew where my next meal was coming. But I transformed my life, I stay one step ahead. Mindset of disruption, I own the edge. This is the ThrillCast, where I bring the wisdom you need. Everyone is selling knowledge, I give mine away for free. I'm as real as it gets, you either love or hate me. Best believe I'm major league, Bill Hynes, that's me. This is the ThrillCast. This is the ThrillCast. This is the ThrillCast.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the ThrillCast. Today I have a very special guest, a fellow stadium super truck and off-road racer, Myles Cheek. Myles, I was going to say congratulations, but actually, because your podium finishes were on my mind still, so from the last time you raced stadium super truck. So hey, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bill. Honored to be on. But yeah, always the bridesmaid, never the bride for the last couple races. Been a few seconds, so steps in the right direction for sure, but itching for that win.
Oh yeah, I think all your supporters who come out to all your races. I know your parents, and you know, oh, you got like 10,000 girlfriends now. I'm just kidding. I don't want to get you in trouble. I know, I'm just messing with you. But yeah, like it's great to seeing the following that you have, and you know how you grew up in off-road racing, and obviously we share something the same, the number, but because I'm an old man and I've been in the series, so I got the 57 over you. So I appreciate you taking the 957 when you race stadium super trucks. So were you a little pissed when that happened?
The first time I was like, who's this friggin' Bill Hynes guy? But it makes sense though. Like, you've done so much for the SST series too, like sponsoring Gavin and Jeff for a couple seasons, getting all those guys back out there. So I get it. It's you've done enough for the sport and stuff where I'm not going to give you too much of a hard time over it.
Well, I've been in the series since the beginning. I'm like the second most starts of all time. Yeah. So it's like you go like
it's kind of grandfathered to you now.
Yeah, I mean, you could pay me for it. Like, you know how they do in baseball, like baseball and football. If you go to a new team and it's like, hey, they got my jersey number. It's like, well, all right, I'll take a Ferrari.
Oh, right. That's why I saw Ohtani just went to the Dodgers.
Yeah.
And, the one guy didn't want to give up his number, so Ohtani bought the guy's wife like some Lambo SUV thing. He's like, here, this should make up for it.
So tell your dad, we'll, bag of cash or, unmarked bills. And I'm sure he'll do that for you. He loves you a lot. So,
no, yeah, he's a good guy.
I you know what? There have been races where, like, we had a sponsor, World Gym down in Australia, and they were like, we don't want you running the 57. And I was like, all right,
really?
What number? And they're like, we want you to run 1776. I'm like, what? And then they were like, I was like, no, I'm not running. But then they changed it to like 1976, and the year that they were founded. So I ran 1976 for a race, and then some other races I've ran other numbers. So I'm not opposed to it, but whatever. I mean, I don't know let's see, if you win a race, maybe I'll let you have 57 for the next race or something like that.
For one round or something.
For one round, just to like,
I'll take it.
So you get some photos or something like that or whatever. And honestly, in certain sports, they have two different numbers, like the same number on two people. Like if you look at the championship photo from the Chiefs, there's two number 13s.
Mm-hmm. Oh, is it really?
Yeah, they're sitting next to each other. Like one's like, oh, that's why. Practice squad.
I know in like sprint car racing, like guys will run multiple numbers. Like Kyle Larson, he's 57K.
Yeah.
So my dad's first number he ever got, he just signed up for a moto race when he was in high school, and they gave him 57K. So he's like, all right, like I'll just stick with this.
Wow.
Then little funny story, like as time went on, my parents had their first kid, my sister. Then when I was born, I was actually born at 1057.
Nice.
So my dad's like, it's meant to be, like, we got to get him into racing.
For that 57. Yeah, so how I got my number 57, my first year ever in baseball, because I'm a big baseball player and, fan of baseball. Like, that's my true love, actually, before even racing, is baseball. My first number was 5. That's what I got. Okay. And then my second number, so the next year I was like, can I get 5 again? They're like, no, it's taken. You're going to get number 7. So I got number 7. And then the third year, they're like, yeah, 5's taken, 7's taken. And I was like, all right, combine them. 57. And then so happens my last name is Hynes, and then the ketchup Hynes 57. So people would make fun of that. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm taking that and making it my own. So I became Hynes 57. you know. So
that's
kind of where I got it. So it's even like kind of like bigger than that. So they never actually SST never even came to me and says, "Hey, Myles coming in, he's 57 and he's better than you, so you got to give him your number." Like they never said that. So
oh no, it's all good. That's what growing up and like when I first started out racing and stuff, in the Lucas Oil series, like a way that they would tell the difference between a junior 1, a junior 2, and a mod is the junior 1s are 200s and the 400s and the 500s. So pretty much my whole career, I've always had a little something in front of the 57.
Oh, so you were like 257.
Yeah, 457. Then my last year that I ran it in the UTV class, I was actually running 957.
957, yeah, okay.
So I was like, screw it, we'll just take that. It works.
It does work, yeah.
And it looks cool. It's like not too many people run the 3-digit number out there, so
not at all.
Helps the truck stand out a little bit.
For sure. So obviously you're passionate about racing and you're very good. I think you raced SST for the first time, I want to say when you were like 15 years old.
Yeah, a long time ago.
And you hung in there. But I think you got that, you know, once SST bites someone, it's like, oh man, that was so much fun. Like you could finish last and still have a smile on your face. I mean, you could, It's like both. It's like duality. Like I'm pissed, but I'm fucking happy as shit because that was fun. Like what got you started in racing? Like what like you said, was it your dad? And
yeah, my dad grew up doing moto. Then down here in Southern California, they would actually have all the high schools compete against each other.
Really?
In motocross, yeah.
They got like a high school motocross team?
Oh, yeah. All the different schools, Downey High, Brea, kids from San Diego schools would come up. So
I had no clue.
Oh, yeah. So that was a super cool form of different sports that they used to do for kids in high school and all that. So
I had a ski team in my high school. Like we didn't have.
That's pretty fun too.
Yeah, but not as fun as motocross. Like shit.
Oh yeah. So he has a whole bunch of funny stories about it. So one is over the announcements on the PA, they used to like say like, oh, the football team won, blah blah blah, but they would never announce any of the players. Yeah. And whenever one of the moto kids would do good, they'd be like, oh, Chuck Cheek won again. So all the football players would always razz him up, throw him into the lockers and all that. So
that's funny.
But he just kept doing moto throughout the years and always watched like the Mickey Thompson races, all the indoor racing. So always had a dream of kind of doing that. Then got me started in just BMX, moto, the same stuff. Then a couple of the kids that I was going to preschool with, they were doing these things called trophy carts. Yeah. It's like a little miniature, you know what they are, a little miniature trophy truck kind of. And had a few friends in the moto world just starting to get injured and stuff. And I was only 8 at the time. And it's like kids are having some gnarly crashes. So my mom's like, all right, like we need to put the brakes on right here and figure out a new sport for Myles. So when that came around, my dad just instantly loved it. And he's like, all right, like I already wanted to do something like this already. Then going out to the races and it just turned into a family thing. Like all of us would go out there, spend the weekend in the motorhome and watch all the races that are going on out there as well. Then the pro buggy class was going, and my dad, he grew up going to the desert and all that too. So he was already driving VW sand cars, all kinds of stuff. So when those popped up, he's like, oh, I got to do it. So he started racing, did his first year in 2008, ended up winning the next season in 2009, just a freaking natural at it. Then a couple years later, my sister ended up racing with me in the trophy carts too. So it just turned into a whole family thing.
It's so awesome to see because it really, like you explained it, it's a family thing and it's a tight knit community. So if like one of us get injured or hurt or has a problem, like everyone rallies around each other in this community of off road racing and even just race car drivers. So, but the interesting thing you said is your mom probably had that long talk with Chuck. It was like,
oh yeah.
So hey, you're not endangering our son, so this is going to happen. And your dad fell in line. So it tells me your mom's the boss of that family, right?
Oh yeah, thankfully she did because I ended up being better at driving than I ever was at riding moto. So helped out a lot. Spared myself from a few injuries and stuff too. So I'm thankful for her.
So if I were to ask your dad if he who do you think is better in their prime, or do you think it's actually you might not even be in your prime yet. You're getting better every time I see you race, and it's like I was like, man, this kid's getting better and better and better. And I call you, even though you're a man, I call you kid because You're like,
you
could be my son. But yeah, and it's like, it's actually a joy to watch. Like I said, we got the Max Gordons of the world and the Ben Mayers, and and seeing you when you first drove it, you might have been 14 or 15, the Sheldon Creeds of the world, Gavin, and just seeing all you guys who came from this off-road community and then progressing to the next step. And like, I can't wait to see what's next for you. And just, you could say like, okay, they're getting better and better and better. So I could tell, like, I'm like, this guy's getting a podium very soon. And sure enough, it was that race. It was like, wow. And then you did it again and again. So it's like, again, yeah, you're the bridesmaid right now.
Oh yeah.
But you're on the altar. You're on the podium. So
getting close.
It's getting close. So talk us about that first podium you had with SST. Like what was going through your mind during the race as you seen it progress, when you're like starting it, obviously you didn't start in the front, you just start picking people off, and as you're moving your way through the field, and then you reset for the competition caution. Like, what's going through your mind at that? Like in the first part of the race, are you like, okay, I got to get as many positions as I can? Everyone has different trains of thought. Like if you ask Sheldon or you ask Matty Brabham, everyone, like Gavin is almost methodical in it. Like he's like, okay, he's going to pick his spots, and then at one point he's just going to go. So what's your thought process with the way our races are laid out, as opposed to like if you're in a UTV or any of the kart, like what you used to do? Like what's your thought process knowing the rules of SST?
Honestly, still trying to figure out as I go. Like Nashville, I wasn't even thinking about the overall when I was running fourth on Sunday. It's like all I'm thinking about is just trying to get on the podium, because that's what I'm so used to, is just single day events.
Yeah.
But back to Long Beach on Sunday, I was actually not too happy going into Sunday. I just wasn't psyched on my driving. Felt like maybe we could do some setup changes on the car and stuff. But sat down with Robbie. He explained a few things to me that I could improve on my driving. I was driving it like I was still on dirt, kind of like dragging the brakes a lot on entry, kind of setting the car wrong instead of straight line braking. So that was probably my biggest thing I had to deal with, is just, I know how to drive go-karts and stuff, but it's just different with the body roll and the truck and everything. So just, still figuring stuff out as we go, but totally different with the two cautions. So got to the lead, and at the first caution, it's like, all right, just keep going, run some smooth lines. And it's like, all right, still leading at the second caution now. So trying to hype myself up, like, come on, Myles, you can do this. And did good. Got a friggin' terrible jump on the last restart. Gavin got up next to me. Then that's when he came across the front all sideways.
Yeah.
Then, I saw Matty coming. Then I was just still learning the car. I was getting a little too aggressive coming out of the corners, would break the tires loose. And Matty just got down to the bottom on me, and I left the door open, but just still trying to figure this little stuff out. So it's like each time I get done in the truck, it's like, all right, need to work on this now. Need to go back, watch some footage. Need to work a little bit more on being more consistent on my braking zones. Just when I hit the 500 or the 400, whatever I'm using as my marker, just every lap, that's it. Then in the beginning, I was always worried about brake fade and stuff. But the more I drive it, the more I realize like it's really not as bad as what people make it sound out to be.
Yeah, I think some people who like kill their equipment, they're the ones that are chattering like, "Oh, it's so bad."
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, if you go out for the first practice and qualifying and just running like flyer laps every time, and then in the first race, if the first, before you get to the first caution, if you're doing the same thing and you don't back it down, and like, by race 2 at the last 3 laps, you're probably going to run out of your brakes, and a lot of times people don't know that you have to pump them to get the pressures back up, because they kind of push out. So, I remember that first race, like you were really pissed off at yourself. Like it wasn't the truck, it wasn't anything else. You weren't pissed off at mom or dad. You weren't pissed off at any other drivers. And I remember that. And then literally the next day you're on the podium. So it was like, okay, you took instruction, you applied it. And I guarantee you by that, when you got to that last caution, you're like, I could probably do this. You had to have the highest confidence at that point. Like, I'm right here with these dudes.
Yeah, definitely boost my confidence, because the first day it felt like everyone was just blowing the doors off me. So the second day, I actually like doing what I was used to doing, like coming through the pack, got to the front and actually saw a clear track.
Yeah.
And not trying to toot my own horn, but like kind of used to doing that just from my short course world. But it's totally different on the asphalt stuff. So just right at the end of that race, it's like, all right, we can do this, like back to what we're used to doing. So just keep picking off the laps, stay calm, don't get too antsy. So, but yeah, that's another thing I need to learn a little bit better was the qualifying stuff. Was I would be easy coming off the corners on my cool down laps, but I'd still be hard on the brakes coming in. It's like, no, I'll just cruise down the straightaway. Just no point of picking it up to 100 and something, you know?
There's not, yeah, exactly.
So each little race, it's like, even if it's just like the smallest bit of information that I can take on to the next one, it's just each race, just trying to learn something new.
Yeah, it's all strategy too. It's like, you know, down to, all right, what do I want my tire pressures out? How do I want the sway bar? Do I want my truck to corner better or fly better? I like it to fly decent because a lot of things can go wrong in the air.
I'd rather be nose up than nose down any day of the week.
I don't know how Brabham and Sheldon do that. They're always kicking and kind of like, actually, you know that because a lot of characteristics of UTVs, which you race, they always seem to kick. Like, what is that about? Like,
just wheelbase a little bit shorter than a lot of the jumps, like for the desert stuff. Yeah. It's like just super peaked out. Like it doesn't have a nice transition into it.
Okay.
So that's like when you start having to get into the throttle and like and just like leave with throttle, try and pop the front end up. So that's something that I was doing too much actually, was trying to settle the car, then hit it. And like right there, I would lose like a half a second on Gavin because he just leaves it wooded and he just flies over it. So it's like, all right, you got to freaking pick it up right here.
Well, that's so for people that don't know, when Myles is saying wooded, he means floored to the damn floor. So yeah. So these trucks, a lot of people do try to brap them like it's like a bike or a UTV, and it goes wrong for some of those people if you don't do it correctly. So you know, especially like on, let's just say Long Beach, you can come off of that hairpin and just hold it flat, and there's no lifting involved. Like you can do that. If your truck is set up like a Matty Brabham or a Sheldon, I don't know why they don't. I think they just get in it and they're like, they don't care. Like me, I'm after my practice, I'm going to the mechanic saying, take out, like add rebound or take out some rebound, because I know, like, I don't know if you can see my hand. I like to kind of fly like that and then land my back tires first and then slap down. I don't now technically feeling better. When you land on your front, it actually feels like a cushion almost, but it's scary as hell. Like when you're like, oh shit, especially if you,
there's like, there's not going to be much give when this bumper hits the concrete.
If it's just like, you know, you're just like flopping over a jump, that's nothing. But when you're really kicking and the other thing is worse is if you catch air and you land on your back bumper straight down.
Oh yeah. Done that a few times.
Oh my God. I did that at actually the race you got the podium on. I did that one time, and it was all just like how I approached the jump and how, you know, I don't know what I did.
Do that. Wind starts getting underneath the front hood, just makes it worse.
Yeah. I think I lifted too. So it was like, whoops. Anyway.
Oh yeah.
But,
that's what I think. Long Beach, every time I went out on the track, I was bending it up. So by the last race, they just left my bumper bent up. They're like, screw it. You're just going to do it again.
We're not fixing this. Yeah, he's getting crash damage. Uh-oh. So have you ever had any bad wrecks in, I know none in, you know, there's bumping and grinding and that didn't sound right. Wrong podcast. And any bad crashes for you in like the UTVs or anything else like that?
I did Pro Light for one season. Then
nice.
Had some good luck in it, but qualifying one round, we were up in Reno, and turn one, you go up a hill, flip a U-turn, jump down the hill, and you're carrying a whole bunch of speed down the hill into a tabletop. And just ran a good lap. Then my crew chief's like, all right, catching the guy in front of you, get out of the gas a little bit just to build your gap for the next lap.
Yeah.
And when I was in the transition going up the table, I was just out of the gas completely. Got a weird kick, exactly what we were just talking about. Went front nose down, dragged the front bumper for a while, finally caught, flipped me. Then that was like the first time or only time I've ever really had a concussion.
Yeah.
from racing. So got out of the car all woozy, tried laying down in bed, couldn't lay down. So that was probably my worst one. But besides that,
was that clip on social media?
Yeah, I got it on Instagram.
Yeah, I believe I saw that one. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, so that was a pretty good one. Then one back in the mod kart days, I actually forgot about this. Same track actually too. They have a 90 degree at the bottom of a hill. Then you can kind of cut the inside and jump across it.
Yeah.
Then just cut it too tight this time. I had my arm on the shifter, dug the left front in, and my arm pushed all of the shifter all the way forward, and it kind of stopped.
Oh wow.
And they call it a buckle fracture. It's like when your bone pushes together and just makes a little bubble.
Bubble, yeah.
So besides that, nothing too major.
Well, that's good. I mean, and you know, that's also a testament to the skill of you driving. Like I remember, you know, just even again Long Beach or Nashville, like when you're pulling a pass on certain people. Well, obviously when you pass me, I was like, all right, wow. The thing that was remarkable is like from other new drivers that come in the series. I say, even though you did it in the past, like, you know, you're still. I considered you last year a rookie. It was like you were very clean. Okay, you gave space. I was like, all right, like, but you gather the respect of other drivers like Gavin and you know Maddie and Robbie and whereas like some new drivers, you know, they'll just come in and try to plow their way through, and it's like, all right, well, we got something for you. And as you know, like if all the veterans get together, it could be a tough race for a new guy because we will like, all right, we got something for you, and we'll purposely block someone and run them into a wall if they don't want to play nice. It's dangerous as it is as dangerous as Stadium Super Trucks is. We don't need someone, you know, doing something more dangerous or, you know.
Yeah,
so,
just make the consequences even worse.
Yeah, so you fit right in from the beginning because you came from the lifestyle, so to speak, and you know you kind of know the, like one announcer is like, if this series had any rules, somebody'd be in trouble. But like, yeah, we don't really have much rules, but it's
kind of like a gentleman's agreement before the race. Like, you don't touch me, I'm not going to touch you. Then that's always something I tried to pride myself on, was clean driving. That's what the UTV stuff was, kind of like a half open wheel class.
Yeah.
So there wasn't much touching going on anyways, but
well, here we can lean on each other. That's one thing, but it's even like, hey, you really don't want to be like nailing someone from behind. Like
yeah.
This one guy, Bo, was just on my ass the whole like down. I'm like, all right, motherfucker. So I point him by and it's like, whoop, popped his tire.
Oh yeah.
Bye. You know, like if you're going to be an a-hole about it, then we'll just do that to you. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I got in the blade a little bit in Nashville, and I just felt terrible. It's I actually popped him in the bumper halfway through a corner, set him loose, then tried the outside the lap before, didn't work. So I was like, all right, going to the bottom this time. Then we're just going so fast in that corner. It's the one that's the long straightaway into that 90.
Coming down the bridge.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You made some really good passes down that way. I was like, wow, I was pretty impressed where you got, I think you and Gavin was there and you guys were all locked up going into it. And
yeah. I got so squirrely that first
lap.
You
did. You just shoved it in there. I saw that
but
one. Yeah.
It worked. So, I ended up getting in the blade, and man, I was so bummed because me and him are buddies too. And
I love
thankfully,
blade, yeah.
We were able to talk it out, and we still went and got dinner, hung out that night. So it all worked out. But, yeah, something I try to pride myself on was just always clean driving. Just you don't need to touch someone to pass them. So, and I feel like that's a cooler way to pass anyone, anyways, to square someone up rather than getting into their door and push them out. So,
oh yeah, that's a lot of drivers do that, but yet they don't realize, hey, there's another lap and there's a yellow. You know, and there's another race the next day, and that's when the gloves come off. So what's it look like for your 2024 season? What you know, I don't mean to keep you long, and we like to keep these podcasts short, but what's Myles Cheek up to for 2024 as far as racing? Like, are you going to be doing Stadium Super Trucks? Are you going to be back in any UTVs? Like, what are you going to be doing racing wise?
As of right now, the only thing that's really on the calendar is just Long Beach.
Okay.
So go there, see where we end up in points. If it makes sense, then try and find some sponsors to do the rest of the season.
Nice.
But the end of last year in November or so, I went and did the Nora 500 with Robbie. So ended up able to ride with him in my first desert race ever. So that was really cool, being to learn from him, hear him over the radio and all that. But huge learning experience for me, because if I would have just hopped in a car, went and did the desert, I'm so used to the sprint races that we do,
Yeah.
So it's good to see, like, if you overcook a corner just a little bit out there, like, you're going to get into some 4-foot boulders and stuff. So better to lose a half second on entry and make it up on the exit,
For sure.
But besides that, probably just see if Robbie wants me to come and race the UTV stuff with him.
That's going to be fun. They got so many cool packages out there to where like you can rent one of his UTVs now, race setup ready. And so I'm thinking about that as well.
Full ride and drive.
Yeah, such a great. Have you driven any of his new UTVs?
I did about 30 miles in it at the end of the race. Yeah.
Okay. What'd you think of it? Honest opinion.
Friggin', dude, honestly, works great.
Yeah.
It worked great. The suspension blew me away because, like we were talking about how much the UTVs kick. Yeah. I think that thing kicked on us once in 500 miles.
And so I haven't driven it yet. I purchased previous products of him when he was, when he was the brains behind Textron and all the other ones.
Yeah.
And obviously I drive a stadium super truck. So just from that, knowing, okay, I kind of have a pretty good, if anyone has a pretty good idea of what Robbie Gordon can build, I would say I'm probably one of the most qualified for that, because I've been driving it for a very long time. Like I've got over 140 starts in a vehicle that he makes. And, I'm still here, So I'm glad to hear you say that, because I believe, like, when all said and done, his product is going to be far better than Can-Am and Polaris and Textron and any of those other ones. And I think he's just going to keep refining it because, he's that much better. So I can't wait to see you in one of those. And I think I think you'll do some really good damage in those races. Good damage, not bad damage.
No, yeah. That's what I've been not hounding on them too much, but I want to get one over to my shop, then start doing some tweaks and stuff to set it up for short course and do some testing in it.
You do Parker, all those ones, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Just get an idea of what it would take, because that car, it's built to race. So, like, the arms are naturally bigger than the Polarises and Can-Ams and stuff. So the short course stuff, we don't really need as beefy of parts on it.
Yeah.
So we'd try and lighten it down a little bit. And, but yeah, I'm excited to get one.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be awesome. So when you're not racing, what does Myles like to do for fun? Like, what do you, what do you do when you're not racing, and do you work, or do you go in school? Like what's in the life of a race car driver?
Working for my dad right now in the CNC machinist stuff. So, learning all the ropes from him. So definitely something I want to pursue as a career, to trying to afford racing, how expensive it can get. So do that. Then, just golfing with buddies. And
oh, you like golf, huh?
Oh yeah, trying to slowly learning it. So me and Gavin Harlan, actually, we go probably once every 2 weeks or something. So
really nice.
Oh yeah, Gavin, we probably live 15 minutes away from each other now.
Tell him to jump on the podcast. I've been trying to get him. He keeps rock starring me. He's a 2-time champion for Stadium Super Trucks, and everyone else is coming on. And yeah, he's just so busy. I love his dad, by the way, and your dad, and.
No, Chris is the best.
Yeah, Chris and your dad. Me and Chris share a birthday, so that's why we're.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, we're the same temperament. So.
Yeah, you guys are cut from the same cloth for sure.
Pretty much are. Yeah, we both got bulldogs and stuff like that. So, yeah,
But yeah, I'm gonna see Gavin Thursday, so I'll give him a hard time. Be like, dude, I already did it. Why aren't you on there? He's just so busy, and obviously he spends all his time with his girlfriend too. So anyway, he started his own business now.
Started that, yeah. So
understandable.
I'm good at Top Golf. So if you, me, and Gavin want to go to Top Golf, I'll be. I don't know how. Hey,
Long Beach, let's set it up.
Did I got a Top Golf there? We could find one.
It's actually in Chino. It's like an hour away, a little too far.
Well, no, we're race car drivers. We get there in 30 minutes.
Yeah, it ain't nothing.
We'll take Robbie's helicopter or something like that.
Oh, perfect.
There you go. Yeah, anytime I play like my kids, I just all right, I don't give them anything. I'm not letting anyone win, so I'm going to try to beat you and everything. So anyway, but thanks for coming on. And that's how these podcasts are. We like to do just quick, get to know people, and then and then obviously at the race, we'll have our mobile crew. And we'll just be interviewing like after the race, and just we just like to go up to people and stick a microphone and in their face, especially right after a race where some drama happens. Come
out of the car all hot.
Yeah, it's like, what the hell? Gavin dumped me. It's like, oh, I bet you're not going golfing with Gavin anymore.
Oh yeah, that'd make for a good interview on wrestling Gavin in the pit.
Yeah, that'd be perfect. Well, so what would you do if like someone like Gavin, who's one of your best friends, like how do you keep that on the track, and how do you keep that respect as a friend if something like, hey, you're going, because there's money involved too with SST. You know, you win, it could be some decent money, and when you get that decent money, it helps you race even more and more. So like, let's just say you and Gavin are going for the lead, and you know, hey, you're always the bridesmaid, and you got 2-time champion Gavin, who's won a lot in SST, you know, defending champion, and you dump him going into the last hairpin of Long Beach, and you win the race. Like, Chris is coming at you.
Yeah, I know there would definitely be some controversy, but let's say if I knocked him out of the way and he still got second, I think it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But if I got into him and sent him to the back, then yeah, we'd probably not talk for a week or two. I'd have to go buy him a nice dinner or something.
Especially if it's your first win. I think if it's your first win, I think he'd be like, all right, yeah. So.
Yeah, but if roles were reversed, I saw how Blade reacted to it, and he was super cool with me, so I would definitely give Gavin a hard time, but we'd still be boys.
Perfect. That's all that matters. Like me, anytime, like I say, you Burt Jenner put it the best. He's like, yeah, when your helmet's on, you want to kick everyone's ass on the racetrack, and even if it's like your best friend, and then when the helmet comes off, you're just like, hey, let's go get a beer. Me, Coca-Cola, but whatever.
Like, I still want to be buddies with the guy, so I'm not going to, I think he understands it too. Gavin's been racing for a long time, but man, just hopefully that day never comes.
Well, I know the day that is going to come, and that's going to be, you know, Myles Cheek on the top of the box and going to win some races. And with that, Myles, thank you for coming on. Great. Don't want to take up too much of your time, but good luck in the 2024 season, and see you at Long Beach.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Bill. Good talking to you.